Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020. It's been a little bit of a delay. If you saw my quick update video on Friday, I basically laid it out, but in case you didn't, basically, I came back from a trip during Memorial Day with a bad cough and sort of a froggy, scratchy voice, which you can probably still hear a little bit of the after effects of. And then I just got behind a little bit as a result, since I like having a bit of saved up stuff. So I had to put things into cruise control there for a couple weeks, unfortunately. But as you can see, by my videos the last couple days, we're back in business mostly, and we should be at a normal clip again. Again, as I said in the update video, basically, I'm not going to be doing 7 days a week update. That was just specifically for the month, just to see if I could do it. But obviously, it took a lot of time. It's a summer. Hopefully, it'll get nice here in where I am. Weather's still not great, but what can you do? But regardless, you'll see, it's not going to be every single day new videos up, but pretty consistent basis, I think. But regardless, next thing up before we actually get to the show is next up we have basically the Mayhem Tournament pickup, which again is still going on. Remember, how it goes is, I will go ahead, you go ahead to the website here, which I'll include in the description, and you then just pick your bracket of who you think is going to win the Mayhem Tournament. Remember, you get your first round, your second round, your quarterfinals, which will be at the Bash of the Beach pay-per-view, and then finals, which is a four-way ladder match. So remember, your semifinals choices don't matter, only who you put as the winner. And again, how it works is, it's basically it's advancing, point totals, and remember, first place, gets your own match at the November pay-per-view, which will be a cross-brand pay-per-view. So, if you want to do a cross-brand match, if you want to, do a title match, whatever match you want at that pay-per-view. Most people, I assume, will pick a title match. And obviously, you don't get to pick the winner, but I'll do my best to sort of book whoever gets the title shot, whatever match you want within reason. If you're going to tell me to put Lashley versus Kidman, versus Lashley versus, I don't know, Chuck Palumbo, I'm gonna ask you to choose something else. Then of course you also get to choose a dev signing and a dev release, which again I've gone over my dev roster and sort of the available wrestlers in the mid-year review, which you can look over yourself. Then also we have then also going along with that, also you get to pick a dev signing and a push and a de-push of a wrestler. Again, obviously, if you told me we de-push Goldberg, he's not going to be solely jobbing to everybody on the roster. And if you told me to push, Shannon Moore, he's not going to win the world title. It's all degrees. By the same token, if you finish in second place, you get to choose a match of your choosing, a title match of your choosing on a NItro or Revolution. You get to choose a push and a de-push of your own. Obviously, if it conflicts with if it conflicts with the winner, I'll let you know, even though that tends not to happen. And you also get to choose your own dev signing. Again, if there's a clash or something I disagree with, I'll let you know. And again, if you want to sign up for this, and again, third place gets a match of your choosing, that's not a title match on Nitro Revolution as well. Your own dev signing and some other fun stuff, which I'll include in the description below. And again, if you sign up, either be okay with the email that you sign up with via the website, be how I contact you, or include a Twitter name, a Reddit name, some sort of Discord username. I'll just indicate it in your username on the challenge site, so I know who the hell you are and how to get in contact with you. Or I will just use email and we'll see what happens. But that's it for that end. So again, go to the website. It's again. If you want to choose who you want to win these matches, go ahead. If you want to choose who you think I'll book to win, either way, it's up to you. But I'll be back in just a second with Nitro. We are at the beautiful Frye Guerrero Center in Austin, Texas, in front of a little over 16,000 fans, as the Empress put over a huge tag team main event tonight, which is basically been set up the past few weeks, as it's going to be Bill Goldberg teaming up with Sean O'Haire to take on Don Frye and Eddie Guerrero. And as they talk about that, the music of the triumvirate hits, and out walks Billy Kidman, your WCW World Champion, Mike Awesome, one half of your tag champs, and your WCW US Champion, of course, Lance Storm, your WCW Champion, and one half of the tag belts. And Kidman takes the mic and says, nobody can deny at this point, we are the most dominant force in wrestling today. Look around. World title, world tag titles, US title, TV title. The only reason we don't have the women's title is because April cares about looking good, not getting beat up in the ring. But again, more important matters. Kanyon, I've heard you talking, and yes, you get the title shot at Bash at the Beach, and that's great for you. But the reality is, and everybody knows this, I've already proven I can kick your ass, as I did on my ascent to this title, and after Bash at the Beach, everyone will see that your 15 minutes of fame in this business is over, and you will go back to being the joke you were for years before you hooked up with the Horseman. And then Lance Storm actually takes the mic and says, if I can be serious for a moment, everyone thought we looked back into the tag titles at Assault of Anarchy due to the craziness. But we proved everyone we're the best tag team in this business today, and nobody else can deny it anymore. And plus, we added even more gold to our name. You don't have to like it, you can boo us, you can hate us, but this is the damn truth. Gold doesn't lie. Big heel for pop for that, as sort of they, let in the boos go. The music of Shane Helms hits, and out comes Shane Helms and Titus Tomko as the answers put over. Helms and Tomko are the number one contenders to the tag titles. And, Helms comes out, and he actually gets a mixed pop, because, hey, he is at least a Nitro guy, And, Helms says, he's had a whole hell of success here in WCW. He is the greatest United States champion of all time. And Mike Osmond looked at him with like that. He's been a cruiserweight champion. He's been a world champion. He's main evented Starrcade. But one thing has eluded him so far, and that's the tag titles. But now he has the right partner, a man who has backed up kings, queens, prime ministers, and despots. And nothing personal, Kidman. Nothing personal, Storm. Nothing personal, Awesome. But this is just business. But you are not going to stand in my way of becoming tag champion along with Titus here. And then there's a lot of stark back and forth about, just being business. But as tensions continue to rise, out comes Eric Bischoff. To again, a mixed pop because he's still Eric Bischoff. But hey, he's been mostly fair as GM of Nitro. And he says, what I think? I think you guys need to get in the ring. Big pop for a process segment? No. And he's like, no, not like that. But I want something very interesting. So tonight, in the interest of competition, Lance Storm, you're going to team up with Shane Helms, pop for that, against former tag team champions Hart Legacy in a big tag match later tonight, and let's just see how you can work together. Big Eric Bischoff smirk as the two tag teams look at each other, and it's like we got a big match for later tonight of the two teams that I guess are on their way to facing each other at the pay-per-view. Two heels team up to take on the Hart Legacy, as this gets an 83. Fun stuff. Bischoff probably hurt things a little bit here, but also this is only 4 minutes, so there we go. Fun stuff to start the show. And then we basically go to the back, where Ric Flair is just really building up Lashley and saying, "Ooh, I'm a multi-time world champion, but you are one of the best physical specimens I've ever seen in this business, Lashley. You can toss people around. You were in the military. You saw combat. You were a champion in college. You've been a champion wherever you are. Tonight, you can be a champion tonight in that ring against Toland. You can throw him around. You can knock him down. Whoo!" And then Claudio's just sort of there, dressed in a suit, watching. So then we've got a big match later tonight, as of course one half of Evolution, Blaster Lashley takes on Tank Toland. And this gets a 63 because it's mostly Flair. And then we have our opening match, which is just 6 guys flying around, going all after each other, and actually works pretty well. As this is just a wild 6-man, opening tag match, as we got Austin Aries, Eagle Skipper, Great Suzuki, Hataka, Matt Sydal, and Jerry Lynn, all hitting big moves, in the 7 minutes we have, as, Suzuki does his big Tiger Spice Flying Tiger Drop, Hataka gets some kicks in, Sydal flies around, Jerry gets his shots in. Eventually, it looks like it's going to be Aries or Sydal getting the win, and they go after each other. But actually what happens is Aries hits a big brainbuster on Haydock on Suzuki, but Sydal comes in with a big sort of springboard bulldog on the Sydal onto Aries, and then Aries comes after Sydal, but Sydal ducks under, and then Sydal has a big dive on Aries, and he can do a brawl. Back in the ring, Lynn picks up Hidaka, cradle pile driver, 1, 2, 3. Jerry Lynn has won a big cruiserweight match here on Nitro, as this gets a 64, which is shockingly good, as Aries gets a 55, Skipper gets a 64, Great Suzuki gets a 67, Hidaka gets a 57, Sydal gets a 60, and Jerry Lynn gets a 47. Fun stuff. And post-match, basically, Lynn is celebrating in the ring as he enters, but over, he is a former cruiserweight champion, and he has a big chance, possibly to get a match against new cruiserweight champion Rex Roberts. And meanwhile, in the background, Sydal and Aries are on the outside, getting basically pulled apart by referees going after each other as this gets a 45. And then we cut backstage, where we have the chosen few of Jeff Jarrett, Magnificent Mark Jindrak, and Silly Johnny Devine. And I actually rated everybody, so actually 82 isn't that bad, all things considered. As Jarrett is basically like, he's standing in front of both Jindrak and Devine and saying, we here in Chosen Few have a vermin problem. Some of this vermin is loud and annoying. Some of this vermin is at home on the streets. There's also even some pretty big vermin. But Slapnuts, tonight begins our extermination plan. Jindrak, go out there and prove how magnificent you are by taking out Gigantes and showing everybody why you are one of the chosen few. Jindrak's like, I'm ready to kick ass, boss. And Divine's just being a, cocky, smarmy asshole in the background. And this gets an 82 as we have Mark Jindrak versus Gigantes later tonight. And then we have Blaster Lashley versus Tank Toland. And yeah, this is not the best match in the world, but it's a back and forth match, but Blaster Lashley eventually takes control and tosses Toland around. And this, this is impressive because, Toland did get to the quarterfinals of the man tournament last year. Of course, he had a lot of help doing it, but he still got there. And this is just like lots and lots of just, Toland trying to do some brawling to get back, but Lashley take advantage. Eventually, we have Le Pen and Claudia going after each other on the outside. And eventually, Lashley gets Toland, Dominator, pinfall right in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Bobby Lashley, Blaster Lashley with a big win here on Nitro, as this gets a 62. Lashley only gets a 24 because, he's not really over at all. Toland gets a 67. Fun stuff. And post-match, Evolution, celebrates at the top of the ramp as Toland and Weapon stew, as seems this feud is far from over. This gets a 60 because, again, I actually rated these guys. Fun stuff, though. And then we have a fun segment as backstage we have Kanyon with Hart Legacy, basically giving them, talking to them saying, look, Storm, Helms, they're very good wrestlers, but they're just wrestlers. And you two, you're young, you're hungry, and you have the talent to shock the world here tonight. You've been tag champ before, but beating two champions like this right now will show everybody just how great you are. And, Hart is good luck at the bash. And Kanyon's like, no, look, you don't need luck if you've got the talent, and nobody's better than you. And, Kanyon, basically, quick handshake. Kanyon walks out of the locker room and then basically runs right into Goldberg and O'Haire. There's some tension for a moment, and then all, sort of three men, do the handshake deal. And, Kanyon's goes to O'Haire and says, look, we've had a wars, but here's the reality. I killed myself against Eddie for the past few months, and he's going to be tough, but I know you can do it because you kicked my ass. And, I'm sorry, he goes up to Goldberg. Because Goldberg, Bill, you're the man, but I'm still better than everyone. Nobody's better than Kanyon, I truly believe. And hopefully we'll get to prove that in the ring. And Don Frye, and, then he goes over to Eddie and say, he goes over to O'Haire and say, Fries, I've never been in the ring with him, but Goldberg can tell you he's committed, unlike we've never seen WCW before. But I got faith in you because we've had our wars. But at the bash, I've got to prove I know he's better than Kanyon. And after that, you two can have any title shot you want. So there you go, 99, setting up, babyface, little friendship, and getting some time in for Hart and Evans. And then we have Mark Jindrak versus Gigantes. I said this as a car crash, which honestly, let me see if this actually helped or not, because I'm actually interested here. Cap to the short mat lengths. Okay. I mean, it didn't hurt it, which is good, interesting. Anyway, basically, we have just like chaos here. As Brother Ray gets involved, the Truth gets involved, Jeff Jarrett's around, so Johnny Devine. But eventually, Mark Jindrak is able to get enough offense in. He doesn't hit super kick, he hits some sort of power move to get the win over Gigantes, along with a lot of help. A little over 6 minutes, and he gets the pinfall victory here. As, Jindrak actually is like shockingly over, as he gets a 78, which again, like, Jindrak's one of those guys who I probably should push more, honestly. But we sort of been stuck in the tag division and with Chosen Few. And Gigantes gets to 52, which is fine, but like, again, it's fine. And then post-match, of course, we have a fight involving everyone before the referees and officials get involved and drag everybody across from each other, as just put over the fact this, battle is far from over. 77, good stuff, as Jarrett's really good. Gigantes wasn't great, but Brother Ray looked good as well. Which sounds about right. And then we cut backstage where Jim Barash is with Cruiserweight Champion Reckless Roberts and his manager, I guess, sister, Tracy Roberts. And, Tracy says something pithy about it's just a shame that Aries and Sydal were so involved with each other, they couldn't actually get the win last night. And then Reckless says, Jerry, here's reality, man. You're over the hill. Like, you had your time. You had your brief shining moment in ECW and up north for about 2 seconds. But it's time for a new generation of men like me. Nothing personal, but you'll get your match, and then we'll put you out to pasture, and you can go wrestle, King Kong Bundy and Bruce Beefcake out on the indies. 46, not the best promo, but we're building stuff up. And then we have a little backstage TTT as Randy Savage, of course, who is Don Frye's manager, and Eddie Guerrero face off. And, Eddie and Savage have a quick little, back and forth about brother, we were two boats floating the night. Oh, yeah. During our career, we didn't quite meet up, but it would have been great to face off and see who was a better man. Oh, yeah. Dig it. And he's like, would have been great, but I would prove Guerrero family values match up against absolutely anybody else. And then Eddie sort of turns his focus to Frye, who's training in the background. He says, look, Frye, if we were thrown together in an octagon, I'd follow your lead. But this ring is my home, where I was built up, and where I was born and created. Nothing personal, Don, but in that ring, you follow my lead. You follow my lead in there, and don't get in my way. And then Frye starts up and says, I don't follow anybody's lead. Savage is my manager because he knows his business, but I'm the predator, and I just walk in and get things done. And he's like, fine, I say, but don't, like I said, follow my lead, and in that ring, don't mess up. Again, heels should not get along because they're all evil and self-serving, but faces should because they're good guys. 88, decent stuff, building the big tag match later on tonight. And then, okay. Oh, right. Wait. Okay. Okay. So a little bit of interesting. Okay, first of all, this got a 90 despite the bad, which is, Jesus Christ, this would have got a 95 maybe if there wasn't bad chemistry. But anyway, let's see here. Back and forth match as you expect. This is freaking great. Evans and Hart are freaking awesome. Shane Helms is Shane Helms. Lance Storm is very great, technical stuff, tying up Hart and Evans, but maybe there's a segment where actually Hart gets some surprising technical stuff because he's still Hart after all, and he goes straight into the dungeon. Evans flies around a bit. Helms hits some big super kicks, big moves, back and forth. T-bone suplex from Helms on to Jack Evans, as Helms and Storm actually get to play sort of bigger heels for once. But eventually Evans gets tagged as the babyface of fire. Things break down, and then Helms actually there's breakdown. It looks like there's going to be a double team on Evans as Helms teams with the band and nails a super kick, but Evans gets out of the way at the last ball second, and Helms drills Storm with it. Teddy Hart then comes in, hits a big move on Helms to get him out of the ring. Evans goes up top, hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. A huge victory for Jack Evans over one half of the tag team champions here on NItro. As again, this gets a 90. Lance comes to 77. Shane Helms gets an 82. Teddy Hart gets an 84. Jack Evans gets an 83. Helms and Lance Storm don't work well as a team, which is unfortunate. And Helms and Tomko are an awkward pairing. So, okay, I just won't have Tomko be Helms manager anymore. But like this would have been like a 93 or 94 if not for the bad pairing, I think. Well, was this cap be due to the length? Okay, yeah, it was also capped. So I mean, even with the bad chemistry notes, like this would have been like if we would have put this. Well, also I guess maybe Hart. Like I don't know if Hart and Evans can do like all out 18-minute matches. Anyway, a really fun match. As post match, of course, both teams face off. You know, as you get sort of a mixed pop, as you know, is a big tag team title match, but also we hate all these guys. As this gets 69 just because it's a short segment. And we go backstage where Journey Barash is with Brother Ray and The Truth, and they cut a sort of like just basic babyface promo, you know, calling out the chosen few for a tag match next week. You know, they don't care if it's Jarrett, Jindrak, Divine. The Truth is going to set them free, and Brother Ray is going to kick some ass in that ring tonight, and they want to fight. Again, just setting up a tag match for next week, and there you go, as this gets an 81. And then after that, Kanyon is backstage talking to some random, you know, backstage personnel when out of nowhere, Jason Jett attacks him from behind, throws him over like some tables and such into the wall, and just begins to kick it, like punching the crap out of him before WCW drag him off as he says, "This is my moment. Kanyon, this is my moment. And you're not going to stop me." As the entrants are just like confused and shocked, as Jason Jett has been talking about, like, you know, making a presence felt here on Nitro, and he's had to go after the number one contender sort of out of nowhere, as this gets an 80. Fun stuff. And then we have a Revolution recap, which gets a 72. And then, okay, honestly, the fact there was no bad chemistry note probably helped things out. And so, this is your, you know, very basic Nitro / Raw style main event of 4 huge stars. And of course, the big matches that we're setting up, you know, Eddie versus Goldberg and Frye versus O'Haire, we sort of like try to keep away as we sort of like focus on the feuds that did happen as Eddie goes after, you know, Eddie goes after O'Haire and they fight. Frye and Goldberg face off and brawl and have like a like little 2 or 3 minute segments sort of like redoing their matches. Eventually, Frye does get O'Haire in the ring and he actually like locks in on hold, but it's close enough to the ropes that O'Haire is able to break for it. And then O'Haire's able to use his power stuff and actually lock Frye in hold, but Frye easily gets out of it. Goldberg and Eddie face off, and Eddie like uses a, you know, little bit of light cheat and steel to get the advantage, and actually hits a blue thunder bomb on Goldberg, but Goldberg's able to roll out of the way of the frog splash. Things eventually break down, everybody fights, and we go to a double count out because I didn't want to make anybody job quite yet, as this gets an 86. As again, this is not like, you know, some huge thing. This is just a very, you know, run of the mill tag team main event to build up 2 big matches for the pay-per-view, and it goes well. As Goldberg gets an 88, O'Haire gets an 88, Frye gets a 71, Eddie gets a 94 because he's fucking great. And post-match, everybody continues to fight, but actually what happens here is, you know, this gets an 89, as O'Haire actually is able to block a Frye attempt at a hold into powering him up and actually almost hitting the Widowmaker on Frye before Savage comes in and breaks things up. But he still like tosses Frye over and then drills Savage with a big right hand. And then Goldberg spears Eddie out of his boots. And the babyfaces stand tall in the show as this gets an 89. And overall, for a show, we get a 90. Okay, so really good show. You know, not the best show ever. And I'm sure Raw actually did kind of a random 99. And look, it's Ace Steel. I wonder how his career will run out. I mean, at the moment, he doesn't have Punk to back him up since he's not in WWE with him, so he can't randomly bite people. This will be funny if by the time I post this on Monday, Ace still shows up on Collision. But, you know, regardless. Gotta love the build-up. Sorry, guys. I mean, I'm sure 99% of people just, like, hit the 30-second button unless you're, like, randomly just, like, watching it in the background. I'll try to keep things entertained. He still be good. Like, his stats aren't good, which is sort of true. Anyway, this was Nitro, so let's see here. Gaia Singh, BGW, Match of the Year. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, Sting's back from his little run. So let's see what Raw did. Okay, so we had let's see here. Tricia the Subbers defeated Little Fellas, which is actually a fun little match on Nitro at 79. Von Hollis was Love defeated Vane and Amber James in 74. Regal defeated Rico in 81. Brock Lesnar killed Rod Wonderman in 93. Gals Bruiser defeated JBL in Bump and Grind. And then Big Show and Taker defeated Team Angle and Random 100 because of course it did. Let's see. So they did a 3.12 and we did a 2.87. So solid stuff. So yeah, I mean, nothing else. Let's see here. Else going on. Yeah, just your regular matches. So I'll be back in just a second with Revolution. Now it's time for Revolution, live from the beautiful Morgantown Coliseum in Morgantown, West Virginia, as we got a little under 15,000 people here in the arena as the announcers put over. It's a big six-man main event involving Paul London, AJ Styles, Booker T facing off against Chuck Palumbo, Monty Brown, and Cash in a continuing battle of who's the king of Revolution as this gets to 70. Then we go to our opening match of the evening, which is going to be Desiree Dawkins getting a big win here over Roni Jonah in a little under 7 minutes, as it's a back and forth match as Dawkins can use her character sort of like a spark plug heel, like sort of like over the top, feisty character that just gets under the fan's skin, especially since she just turned on some baby faces, and she gets the big win here over one of her tag partners for one night back at the pay-per-view as she used some cheating to get the victory here as this gets a 51. Unfortunately, they didn't click. They got a 51 though. Desiree gets a 48. Roni Jonah gets a 40. And then, on the outside of the ring, Lila Vivez and Dawkins face off, yelling at each other as the announcers put over that these two used to team in other promotions before they came up with WCW, and now they're on opposite sides of the ring as this gets a 49. Fun little beginning to the show as we move forward. As next up, we have the babyfaces all backstage, which gets a 99 because these guys are all really over, thankfully. As basically, this is just them, hanging out, really putting over their characters. Booker's slowly moving into more of a veteran presence, saying, Tony, you suckers gotta know, Monty's going to brawl out there, Plum was going to try to use his woman, and Cash is just a scumbag. We can all do this. I got faith. You guys are the future of Revolution here, and I can dig that. And AJ's like, yeah, this is my time now. I'm going to get out there, I'm going to wrestle, I'm going to put on a show in front of these fans and prove that I'm going to be the face that runs this place sooner than later, and London just Paul London. Again, this is honestly just kind of a segment to boost the rating of the show, but fun little babyface promo here to put them over as this gets a 99, because good stuff. And then we have your tag team champions, and of course your US TV champion coming out as Lance Storm and Mike Awesome coming out of the ring for the fact, they're the US champion, they're television champion, they're the tag team champions. But we really want to do something wonderful for you inbred hicks here in West Virginia. Boo. You see, we know the former champions, America's Wanted, are on a media duty tonight overseas, so they're not here. What we wanted to do is give any two men in the back, a chance at these tag titles. Because we want to prove that any night we can take on anybody and prove we're still the best in the world. So come out here and get your ass kicked. Fairly quick promo, so only got to 68, and then some interesting music hits, and then a big pop happens as out comes Matt and Jeff Hardy. Big pop for this as Jeff Hardy has come back after months of rehab. Matt Hardy left the WWE a couple months ago, and he gets his Hardy brother, gets a gimmick of Adequate, and it looks like the Hardy brothers are the big time mystery opponents for Storm and Awesome. They come out, and then it's time for the actual match. We get to freaking 89, Jesus Christ. And it's a very good match, a little over 14 minutes, back and forth, but really Awesome Storm eventually gained some advantage. But in the long run, you know what's going to happen here. You don't have baby faces come back after months, making their debut, and they don't win here. And in the end, Matt Hardy gets the big win over Lance Storm after a bunch of big moves, and your new tag team champions are the Hardy Boys. This gets an 89, Jeff Hardy gets a 93, Matt gets a 76, Mike Awesome gets a 90, Lance Storm gets an 87. Great freaking match. Hardy Boys come in. So yeah, this is basically what I've been building. I sort of got this idea, basically as I was sort of building out the Rise of the Triumvirate. I was okay, who could actually take the belts off? Because I didn't want to put AMW back on titles. I didn't want to put some random team. And when it looks like Matt Hardy was going to be available, and I timed out when Jeff would be back from rehab, hopefully he doesn't fuck things up, I figured this out, and here we go. So it gets an 89, and of course, post-match, crowd pops. Hardy, Matt, and Jeff celebrate to the cheers of the crowd, which gets a 72. As you split over, what a big moment here. This is on Revolution. And then we move forward. As we go to the back, basically that's sort of, we go to commercial, we come back from commercial, and it says we're backstage. There's champagne, there's celebration. All the baby faces are celebrating. Booker T, shakes Jeff's hand. AJ, and Jeff do a quick hug. London, does a little bit of respect. Everybody's celebrating, but then they're eventually, we got to get going, get ready for a match later tonight. Hardys are still celebrating. Ken Anderson comes in, looks over at Paul and says, that could have been us. I saved you last week. Nothing personal, as he looks over at Jeff and Matt. But, we could have done that too. And London sort of shrugs and says, come on in. Let him celebrate. And it's just, look, am I the asshole here? Maybe. But I just want to point things out. But hey, I'm ready for a fight too, so let's go. As this gets an 81, as we build things up here. And then we have our next big segment as basically Captivation come out to the ring. Are in the ring as we come out, and then Teddy comes back out and says, basically, all three of you women have accomplished a lot in this business. Angel Fox, Lacey James, you helped build the basics of this division, the foundation of the new women's division, which is the best in the world, and you're both the WCW Women's Champion. Lizzie, you wrestled all the world, and you've helped create the basis for these women could be great. So there's only one question. Which one of you is good next to get the women's title shot? And then Tricia Skye's music comes out, and our WCW World Women's Champion comes down to the ring and says, look, nothing personal, Angel, nothing personal, Lexi, but I've been heard a lot of yapping from you, Lizzie, about how you were the one who helped create the women's division back up north, and how you're always better than me, and how I've gotten lucky, and all the opportunity. So, Dumas, you want to get in this ring with me? Fine. Whatever the next title shot is, I'll kick your ass happily. Big pop for that. It looks like our next women's title match is going to be Tricia Skye defending against Lizzie Dumas. And then, there's a little bit more back and forth, and a match is set up for right now of Tricia Skye versus Lexi James. And yeah, fun stuff. 86 sort of sets up our next feud, and here we go. And this is a fun little match, but basically, this is, again, putting Lexi over as a top-tier competitor, but also putting over that Tricia is sort of like the top dog in the division now. Back and forth match, nothing fancy here, and eventually Tricia Skye gets the win with the Sky's the Limit. No interference, as Lizzie actually stops Angel from interfering at one point, and just, Sky's the Limit, win, nothing sort of just a star, star versus upper mid-card star with a star going over. This gets an 81, Tricia gets an 82, Lexi gets a 55, and post-match, Tricia and Lizzie Dumas face off. Tricia holds her title up as she heads to the back, as Lizzie staggers at her, and that's our women's title feud set up as this gets a 70. And then we go backstage to our heels, as, they basically say, we don't give a crap about, the Triumvirate losing the tag titles, because, they're in our way just as much as anybody in this business, because they've gotten the shots and we haven't. So, everybody's happy that the Hardys are back, and Monty's like, let's get a pounce and end that night badly for them. And everybody agrees, cackling evilly as heels, and ready to kick some ass and win the match tonight. Again, I'll be honest, not my best work with that, but just sort of your basic very heel setup, as this gets a 96. Fun stuff. And then we have a backstage promo as Amy Wilbur is with Keenan Sharpe, as she puts over that he's facing Rob Van Dam later tonight in a big match for Sharpe, and and Wilbur asks, is he going to have a chance against Van Dam after, of course, he lost to Bro Down Chris Roxy last week? And Sharpe frequently says, I did not lose to Roxy. A bunch of corrupt officials upset that I tore apart their golden boy, reversed the decision, putting a black mark on my record. But even they will eventually walk the path. Because, you see, Roxy, you're disgusting. But Van Dam, you're the worst of them all. You put forth this lifestyle, this idea, that all of these less than intelligent people in the crowd think they can fall. But no, they need to walk the path, and you are not special, and you will too. So there you go. Big match set up for later tonight. As it gets to 76, Sharpe is really good on the mic still. Just haven't been pushing him as strongly the past few months. And then we have another hype promo for Sansiaki, which gets a 39, which is what I expected when we're out in the Southeast. Basically him at the club, at the women, with various women, in a cool car, partying, and then talking in third person about how Sonny Siaki is the hottest young star in the business, and Sonny Siaki is coming to WCW finally to make his mark. Again, 39, not the worst, but not that bad considering he doesn't have a ton of overness. And then, now, this is, did we have, I forgot to add a storyline. Okay, that makes sense. God dang it. Probably lost 5 or 6 points here, not the end of the world. But again, this is a back and forth match, and Sharpe looks surprisingly strong, but the honors put over. He is a former US champion, and he just had a run of bad luck, and was in a long involved feud, and he was this close to beating, he beat Ray Jr. But RVD eventually gets back, gets back on offense, hits a few big moves, but Sharpe near the end of the match is able to remove a turnbuckle, back and forth, eventually rough bump, slingshot into the corner, and as the ref recovers, Sharpe hits a quick crucifix and holds onto the tights and gets the huge pinfall victory over a former world champion, as the crowd is shocked, and so is Rob Van Dam, as he rolls to the outside, just totally stunned, as Sharpe raises his hands in victory, as he enters over, one of the biggest victories of his career here, right here on Revolution. This one gets 7-3, like I said, because I forgot to add a story to it, as Sharpe got a 70, RVD got a 93, so probably could have been closer to a high 70s, but still not the end, but big win for Sharpe here. And then backstage, basically, Storm and Awesome, walk into Long's office, but you say they want a rematch, and he's like, look, you don't run things here, but look, obviously, you guys just lost the belts. I'll set things up, and we'll see what the next step is. But hey, Hardys are the tag champs. I'm not reversing anything else. But yeah. Storm and Awesome are fine with that, but say we're going to get our titles back. So 80, there we go. And then we go back. We basically head backstage where Amy Weber is chasing after RVD, and she catches him with cameraman, sort of away a while, basically saying back on the phone and says, "I'm tired of this, man. Look, next week you got to be here, okay? I'm tired of talking. You just need to be here." And then we cut from black to black from that. Get 67 because put them on acting. Just wanted to see what would happen. Then we have our Nitro recap, of course, focusing on the big tag team match, as that gets to 73. And then we have our main event, which honestly, I just this is a very mid 2000s, late 2000s, Raw SmackDown 6-man main event. Throw your stars in there, let them hit their spots. And in the end, Paul London sort of completely finishes off his story with Cash, pinning him with the London calling in a little over 15 minutes. As, again, back and forth match, everybody hits their spots in. AJ goes after Palumbo and Brown. Booker, tries to go after Palumbo. Palumbo goes after AJ. Back and forth, London flies around. London Styles probably do some high-flying moves together. But in the end, with the big win, London hits Cash as he's the weakling and gets a pinfall victory as it gets a 92. Booker gets a 79. AJ gets a 92. London gets an 88. Palumbo gets an 83. Cash gets a 74. And Monty gets an 82. And post-match, this gets a 92. So really good show. Honestly, I mean, that was probably not as good a show as it should have been. Not as good a show. No, that's the wrong way to put it. Is what it is. But yeah, good show. We introduced some new. The hardest thing was, like I said, something I've been planning the past couple months in game. Once I figured out that Jeff would be back around here, Matt would be available, and there you go. And that was a bit of a spoiler. So yeah, WWC had a big show, as it was El Bronco going. Okay, yeah, sorry, I just went right into that. So let me see here. Email. Okay, so, okay. Monty, you're wrestling once a week. Okay, man. Johnny, she is a girl wrestling other girls. Anyway, sorry. Buff Bagwell is feuding with JJ the Ring Crew guy. Sure. Gigantes is retiring. That's interesting. Yeah, actually, let me just look at that WWE show just something interesting. So El Bronco defeats Savio Vega, sure, and Even Express, which is Apollo and Shane Sewell, which are two longtime Puerto Rico guys. Interesting, very weird show. Ace Train. And then what's going on in Indie? Not great. No, that is not like a 3-year-old Roxy. That's a totally different Roxy wrestling. Just in case you were wondering. So one other thing, which you'll notice as part of the description, is I did create a new database, which I'll be including, which will start, basically at the beginning of July. And I'll include that in, with a link, data. You just use your NGO Revolutions photos. Obviously, any new wrestlers that were created, there won't be the wrestler, but, that'll give you opportunity to honestly just, if you don't like the person I chose as a wrestler, to fix that, or you can do whatever you want as far as that goes. It's not that hard to find the people I use if you just look I chose people who'd set out. But anyway, if we look around the wrestling world, let's see here. We had SmackDown. We had Veronica Vane going over Cherry Slice in a 75. Sure. Mike Holly and Jamie Keys beating Stuka and Amber James in a 74. Gauser Bruiser going over Steve Richards, Steve Street to the Suburbs. Big Show defeating Rod Waterman. Chris Jericho defeating Christian in a random 99. Triple H defeating JBL in a random cage match. And Ed and Taker defeating Angle and Gunn in another random 99. Sure. If we look at if we first look at our Dev Fed, we had on TV, Dagenberg is going over the Rain Man. Onyx defeating Kurt Stallings. That's different Onyx, obviously. And Kurt Stallings is a regen that we hired. Otsuka, Cole, and Morgan defeated Mukai and Rage Inc. And Ortiz defeating Kento Suzuki and Matt Cross. They're and Ortiz is getting there, but I don't know if I'm going to bring him up. Jason Cross and Jimmy Rave then defeated Ray Gordy and Lazarus. And that's where Ray Gordy was injured, by the way. Then, in our weekly house show, we had Rick Michaels and Kento Suzuki defeating Kurt Stallings and Dagen Briggs. Let's see here. Rain Man defeating JC Daz, Matt Cross defeating Ryan Drago in a battle of future members of the Cruiserweight division. Milwaukee and Kenny Aoki, who are the NWA Tag Champions, defeated Trevor Rhodes and Stone Mountain. Sure. Bit Akabona defeated Onyx and Lazarus. And there we go. That's sort of it. In AWQ, our women's dev fed, we had our weekly show, I believe. Yeah, okay. So we had a weekly show which had Michelle McCool and Annette Blanchard defeat Persia Perez and the Color Chambers in a 28, because here's two of our newer signings. ODB, Madison Claire, and Becky Bayless defeated Amazing Kong and the Girl Girls in a 45. Mio Osaka defeated Miss Molly, and Ariel defeated Mischief in a 60. And then at Ladies Night, we had Annette Blanchard, ODB, and Michelle defeated Tracy Taylor, Madison Eagles, and Amazing Kong by DQ. Not really ready. Mio Osaka defeated Carla Chambers in basically a training match, as Carla Chambers is a new regen. Madison Claire defeated Sidney Rogers in a 51. Becky Bayless defeated Miss Molly. And Ariel defeated Mischief to retain the title in a 56. Fun stuff. I think that's about it for them. For the HWA, they had the weekly show. Sean Davari defeated Silas Young in a battle of future backstage people. Daniel Rodmer and Andy Douglas defeated Darren Corbett and Corey Estrada, because why not? Corey Castle, Ricky Shane Page, and Jimmy Jacobs defeated Excalibur and Club Deluxe. And Cyber Squad, which is BJ Payne and AJ Pierce, defeated Alex Shelley and Drew Onyx, who used to be on a roster, for the tag titles. So there we go. NWA, not NWA, Ohio Valley. Where are you, buddies? All right, there you go. Weekly Loop. Not Capitol and Shark Boy teamed up. Let's see. John Morrison defeated Sean Cena in a future possible main event in WWE. Riptide defeated Evelyn Chambers. Mafia defeated Too Tough Tony. Rob Conway defeated Chuck Taylor. Trent Baker. Yeah, not much going on there. Joey Matthews still your OVW champion. Yeah, nothing too weird here. A battle of people with 2 in their names. Lizzie Borden defeated Chantel Taylor for the OVW Divas title, so that's interesting. That might be a sign the game is bringing her up soon. And then outside of that, let me see here. We look at the news, which I really hope I can. All right, so Events. Anything else of note I wanted to show you guys? I think that might be it. I always forget, like, whether there's weird stuff that I showed you guys or weird stuff that I didn't. I think there wasn't much going on. Yeah, we're quickly getting back to our previous weekly shows. Yeah, no huge shows. Anything else I would have put over. Oh, yeah. Nope. Really nothing. Okay, I thought maybe there was something, but that's about it. Just that WWE show I showed you guys. So again, storyline wise, Nitro Against the Darkness, which took a week off, is at a 77. Chosen Backgrounds is at a 76. Cruiser Stuff's at a 53. Evolution is a Mystery is at a 62. Expensive Taste, which is sort of the tag feud, is at an 86. Kanyon Revenge is at an 82. And the big main event tag feud is at an 85. Beautiful Violence, which I'll have to probably change a bit, is 53. Booker, Ray, and our Van Dam's at a 92. The new tag feud with the Arrival of the Hardys as an 89. Cash, Anderson, London's at a 91. Disunion or Disorder, which are another women's feud, at a 60. Old Rivals, Lizzie and Tricia, is at an 88. And Revolution arriving at a 91. So in a weird way, Revolution's kind of our hotter show at the moment, which is interesting. Regardless, again, sign up for the Mayhem Tournament Pick'em. Download the data that I'll be including. And hopefully, after this, we'll be back on a more even keel as far as timing. But that's for now. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking. And of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of TEW 2020 content. That's for now. So talk later, and adios. Have a good one.